So let's go into our Monday night. It will be November 20th of 1995. And we'll start with Nitro. And of course, the Pepe outfit of the week. He's wearing a cow-themed cowboy outfit. Very nice. But our opening match for Nitro is Scott Norton versus the Shark. The Shark attacks Norton from behind during his entrance. Shark was really doing this a lot during this match. He would do the thing where he starts biting his teeth, imitating a shark bite, and is bad. Really bad.
He loves doing that repetition stuff because obviously as Earthquake, he would bounce back and forth. Which I loved it. It worked. He's wasted here as the Shark.
Norton wins after power slamming Shark. And then Norton and Shark shove each other after the match. Not much to this match. This was a short mini feud they're really doing.
Yeah.
Scott Norton wins, which is fine. I think that's the right choice because Shark's going nowhere.
He had just come in and they were building him up as like a powerhouse. So they want to show off how strong he is. Yeah.
So after this match, we do have an interview with Taskmaster and Jimmy Hart. Hart tells Sting that tonight is his night and he can beat the so-called immortal Hulk Hogan. He tells Sting that Hogan has a new best friend, and it's Macho Man. Hulk Hogan didn't call you to be on Baywatch. He called Macho Man. So he's trying to plant the seeds saying Hogan doesn't like you.
Yeah, why didn't he call the Stinger?
And then Taskmaster says Hogan was stupid enough to hand the title over to Jimmy Hart. And at World War III, it is simple. Do not bet against the Dungeon of Doom. It says they have been waiting for the opportunity to get Hulk Hogan in the ring with a bunch of the members of the Dungeon of Doom. And Mean Gene, it cracks me up. He said at the end, he tells Taskmaster and Jimmy Hart that they're two of the biggest pieces of garbage he could recall. Oh, man. Gene's so funny. So we will go over to the opening of Raw. To begin the show, we see 1-2-3 Kid and Ted DiBiase hugging each other because they're just so happy about their victory yesterday. And they screwed over Razor Ramon. So a good night for them. So the first match is Hakushi versus the 1-2-3 Kid. And with them trying to build up the 1-2-3 Kid, the 1-2-3 Kid wins. During the match, we also have a phone interview with Razor Ramon. He says that he can't believe that someone he considered a brother would sell him out. He says that he isn't a crybaby. Note that word. That word's going to come back.
Yeah.
He warns Kid that he knows how bad Razor can be. And he tells the little man he's going to pay. But during the match, Jannetty does come out and he tries to attack the 1-2-3 Kid because he's angry about last night. He got screwed over by DiBiase's camp, but the refs stop him. And I will have a clip of this. During this match, 1-2-3 Kid does one of the ugliest frog splashes I've ever seen in my life. It's a good thing it wasn't for the win. It was terrible. And after the match, DiBiase hands 1-2-3 Kid some money after the match. Good job, Kid. Here's your payment. King does get a quick interview with DiBiase. DiBiase says he acquired a top talent who beat the entire underdog team yesterday by himself, mind you. They called Jannetty a punk. Jannetty doesn't like being called a punk, so he comes out, but Sid follows right behind Jannetty, and he gets in Jannetty's face. 1-2-3 Kid joins in, and to end it, Sid Vicious hits a powerbomb to the outside on Jannetty. We also have a quick Bulldog pre-recorded video. Bulldog says that Bret Hart must have butterflies in his stomach because Bret knows the Bulldog can beat him, referencing the Wembley Stadium victory at SummerSlam, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So he's pretty much just saying that, Bret Hart, you know I can beat you. So that's the first one on each side. The second match for Nitro, originally it was supposed to be Eddie Guerrero versus Ric Flair, but Ric Flair comes out in street clothes. Before the match, Flair gets on the mic and he says someone made a mistake because why would he come out to wrestle Guerrero? You know, he's trying to say he's above wrestling for Guerrero. Flair says he's focused on Sting. He has decided to let Brian Pillman have the honors of beating Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero wins this match. Ric Flair does not stay for the match. He does leave and get back in his jet, you know, handling Horseman business. And the announcers treat this as a big upset because Eddie Guerrero is still relatively new to WCW. For WWF, the next match is Skip versus Savio Vega. I don't have a winner of this match. I don't even know they announced it. Well, the reason they don't announce it, it's probably going to be a no contest because what happens during this match is Diesel comes out.
Apparently, over no declared winner. Diesel comes out and just absolutely mops him up.
Yep, because remember, Diesel had his heel turn at the end of Survivor Series. So he comes out and he shoves Skip down. Then he gets on the mic and he says, people are wondering where my head is at. He thought to himself that he might come out and apologize for what he did to Bret and his fans. But no, I don't think so. He says for the first time in a year, he slept like a baby. He's not some corporate puppet that Vince decided he could create. He says after he won the title, he was rushed to Titan Towers and told he needed to be more corporate and politically correct. And he says what you saw last night was just a tip of the iceberg. Big Daddy Cool is back.
If Diesel was more like this for his title reign, most of his title reign, it would be looked at more fondly. But
I thought this was a pretty good promo from Diesel. I watched it a couple of times. He did a pretty good job on the mic. And he explained clearly why he turned heel. It made sense. No problems there. The next match on Nitro was Big Bubba versus Hawk. And the winner is Hawk.
On commentary during this match teases that someone from the WWF could show up in World War III. I'm trying to think of who he was talking about.
Yeah, let's see when we get there. During this match, Big Bubba is seen trying to get something out of his pocket. And it's turned out to be a little Tate fist deal. And he's about to hit Hawk with it, but Hacksaw Jim Duggan comes out and grabs Bubba on the leg. Oh, he falls down like that.
Yeah. Cause him like, you're gonna need to show. I don't have a clip, but you need to show it. Yeah, he punched himself.
Yeah, but this is just building up towards a match between Duggan and Bubba. I don't care.
And no one really cares about singles Hawk. They want the Road Warriors.
I do like Hawk, but yes, you want to see him with his complete act. So let's go to the main events on both shows. Let's go ahead and do Raws. It is Owen Hart for Shawn Michaels. And this was a pretty good match, I thought. Owen Hart and Shawn, they always have good matches.
Yeah.
The big story is Shawn is in his big comeback, and he just passes out. And they stay on this for a long time.
Yeah, they're saying he collapsed probably due to head-related injuries sustained from the 50 thugs beating him. I'm sorry, 55 from my last count.
58.
58. Oh, dang, it just updated. 58 thugs in Syracuse. They stay on it. They are really trying to make you think that this is real. They go to a commercial break, and then they come back, and the medical staff is still in the ring looking at Shawn.
Yeah, probably 2 or 3 commercial breaks, I would say.
A full stretcher job. They keep showing footage of fans looking concerned. They're really trying to get sympathy for Shawn Michaels here.
And they just brought back this storyline with Roxanne Perez.
Yes, they just with Shawn booking NXT, he's going through his greatest hits. I'm waiting for the lose a smile.
But yeah, that's how the show ends.
Here's something that's funny. I said in my notes, which is before the Roxanne Perez thing, I said I don't think they can do this today, but then they did it. I was wrong.
In quick order too.
Yeah.
The main event for Nitro is Sting versus Hulk Hogan.
Let me start this one off. So Sting comes out first, but then Hulk Hogan's music hits. The Macho Man comes out instead, and he distracts Sting for the longest time while Hulk Hogan slowly walks over the barricade and stands behind Sting, and then even plays to the crowd like he's gonna punch Sting. And Sting is still not turning around. And so this is just another example of how Surfer Sting is one of the dumbest wrestlers ever. Like Hulk Hogan has to tap him on the back before Sting turns around. Yeah, he's still wearing that black executioner stuff. It's so awful. But he does wear, I guess, a prototype of his NWO attire.
He's also wearing those ugly, like, burgundy cowboy boots. It looks terrible.
Yeah, even when he was red and yellow Hogan and he had the yellow cowboy boots, awful.
Sting does get the Scorpion Deathlock on Hogan, and Hogan grabs the ref, and he's screaming in pain. As he's doing that, the Dungeon of Doom come out and cause a disqualification. It's a WCW main event. I feel like the odds of it ending in disqualification is big.
Yes.
At least on Nitro. But Hogan and Sting fight off the Dungeon of Doom. And it should be noted that the Sting is also wearing red and yellow. I think that was an intentional reference to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it absolutely had been intentional. Never suck up moment from Sting.
So you're right. Giant choke slams Macho Man, and then Sting and Hulk Hogan do that weird chair thing to get the Giant out of the ring. That's pretty much it.
And then it comes back to Taskmaster and Jimmy Hart, and they're like harassing Bischoff and the announce crew, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, they're just complaining at the announcer's table. That's how it ends. That's the end of this week. Those shows to me, I think, weren't the best. No, I would still give it to WCW. Yeah, I would just. Exactly. I would, because Sting and Hogan was highly anticipated for me. It was a fair match until the ending, which we all figured it wouldn't have a clean finish. I think we all knew that. And Raw ending with the Shawn Michaels thing, it's just... Yeah, it wouldn't have been as bad to me. I don't think it's a bad ending, but it just drew out so long. So yeah, I will agree. WCW will win this week. So but what did the people say? So it is Nitro 1, 2.5 to 2.3. We finally agree with the people. Yep. So next we are going to go to World War III.
for WCW, and that takes place on November 26, 1995. And to open the pay-per-view, we have a segment with Mean Gene, Hulk Hogan, Sting, and Macho Man. It says, out of something bad comes something good. It says his Hulkamaniacs have stuck with him. He took a walk on the dark side, and says if he had taken that final step, he wouldn't have been with his two best friends tonight. But now he knows who his friends are. Bad. He's wearing the black clothes, and then he takes them off, revealing he has his standard yellow and red underneath. He tosses the black clothes into a trash bin that is right there, and then he sets it on fire.
And Sting, like, throughout this whole promo, will look at the fire, and you can tell he thinks that this fire is too big.
Gene Okerlund also makes a point. I think we could tell he thinks it's too damn big, too.
Hogan says that he wants to be friends with Sting forever, but Sting says that he is with the Hulkster, and the black is gone, and that's good. Like, it's just all three of these guys are just absolutely yucking of each other. Are sucking out to each other. It's awful. They're slurping. Hogan brings out a piece of paper, and he says that the dirt sheets told him Macho Man's arm was never hurt as part of the plan. It's just so weird. And it says, according to the rag sheet, is what he calls it, he says the Giant's going to win the match. I'm like, why would they ever bring this on air?
Hulk Hogan says Macho Man's arm is, like, perfect, and essentially he's saying he's faking the injury. So like, Hulk Hogan, they always do this storyline stuff where like Hogan's always this mastermind, and he plotted like this thing weeks ago. They always retcon stuff to make Hogan to be this mastermind.
But like, why would they introduce like they say that this is going to be the result? Why would you do anything that makes people question, like, break kayfabe, whatever? It's awful. And then he burns it. He burns it, and that's when the fire gets out of control. Terrible second.
And then we go into our first match, but right before our first match, we have a recap of the Saturday show where DDP's talking with Mean Gene, saying Johnny Bad's going to lose, but then him and Diamond Doll get an argument, and Diamond Doll says that Diamond Dallas Page thinks the title is more important than she is. So she says she is unappreciated, and DDP wouldn't know a 10 if it hit him in the face.
But maybe Johnny Bad will.
Maybe. So now we get into our first match.
Y'all have heard in the past, anytime we mention these two guys, you know we've been telling you all these matches are good.
This is for the TV title. During the match, Diamond Dallas Page asks Diamond Doll to give him a 10, but she does not. She's not happy with Diamond Dallas Page. Later on, though, she does give Johnny B. Bad a 10. But Johnny B. Bad wins this match, and he's the new TV champion. He wins with an over the rope leg drop. And also, we didn't note this, but during this match, the winner also, not only did they get the TV title, they also win Diamond Doll's managerial services. Now, Diamond Doll is the manager of Johnny B. Bad.
This pairing I thought was a good pairing, and what's so funny is that you told me that Mark Mero apparently didn't like it, and that's one of the reasons why he left WCW. I'm like, he was getting great crowd reactions. And,
according to Wikipedia, he did not care for this angle. He did not want Diamond Doll to be his manager. I believe it has something to do with him being married to Sable. He didn't like that whole deal. I guess he's more of a religious man when it comes to that, and he views that as some sort of cheating. I don't know. Anyways, he didn't like it. But after the match, we do get a quick interview with Johnny Bad and Diamond Doll, where Bad tells Diamond Dallas Page that is not how you treat a lady, and he would teach Diamond Dallas Page what respect is all about. And he does give Diamond Doll the option. He says, if you want to be my manager, I'd love to have you, but you don't have to be.
He was like overly like, hey, this is your choice. For a character like Johnny Bad, I mean, that works.
And he does seem to be a good person in real life, motivational speaker, like I mentioned in another show. But yeah, it was heavy-handed. So we go to our next match, and it was Big Bubba Rogers versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan in a wrist tape match.
Taped fist.
And the only way to win a said wrist tape match is by pin or knockout. And I didn't care for the match. I have a note saying this was a brawling match, and please let this match end.
Okay, so there's this point though when VK Wall Street comes out and Dugan hits Hacksaw Jim Duggan and hits him with a 2x4. Where did his animosity with Hacksaw come from? I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly.
But Wall Street slips Bubba a chain, and then he hits Duggan with it, and that Hacksaw's down for 10.
And so Big Bubba Rogers wins. Yeah, that's that. Nothing major with this match. Skip it if you can. But after the match, we have a Mean Gene interview with Flair. Flair says tonight he and Sting are going to style and profile. He says Sting tried to end his career, but he is back one more time because whether you like it or not, it happens to be the best thing going today. Flair is really good at this point. Flair says that this has been his master plan to get Sting, Macho Man, Hogan, and Luger in the same building at the same time. And says Flair will rule WCW one more time. Not bad promo. It's pretty good promo from Flair.
He was on his A game this night.
Then the next match, which you're going to help me with some of the names because I didn't get them all.
I will tell you. Kiryu Suzuki, Miya Miyazaki versus Bull Nakano and Akira Hokuto.
This actually wasn't a bad match, but...
No, they did this match, I think, twice, and it's both times a good match.
Yeah, the only issue is that there's really no investment. Yeah. That's the first time we've seen any of these people.
The only one that people will know is Bull Nakano.
Oh, Nakano. Yeah, right. You're right. She has been on WCW before, but everyone else.
You will see Akira Hokuto later in WCW when they bring out the women's title.
But one of the main things from this match is that essentially the main development, but aside from the match, was that Heenan was going way overboard promoting all the Japanese wrestlers because they're doing a thing where he's essentially in a business deal with New Japan, so he's getting some money on the side and. Yeah, that's why they're doing that. So that's
Nakano. They went with the Doomsday device, so I thought that was interesting.
Not bad, but again, not really anything that anyone was invested in.
I would check it out if you're just watching. It is a good match. If you want to just watch a good match with people you don't mind.
Yeah, which a women's match in this time frame on American TV was rare.
People say that there just weren't enough good female wrestlers at the time, but there was. They just didn't want to bring them all together. Yeah, they just didn't care.
But after that, we have a Mean Gene interview with Jimmy Hart and Lex Luger. Hart is saying Luger has it all and could be the next champion. I do have it noted that during this, this is not intentional, I think. Luger goes for a high five. Jimmy Hart doesn't see it, so Lex Luger does not get his high five.
No, sure doesn't. And he said it'd break Macho Man to 100 little pieces.
And he would be the new face of the WCW. This particular promo, it looked like Lex Luger was reading off a card because he kept looking down the camera instead of at it.
Yeah. But the next match is a rematch that we just saw. Chris Benoit versus Kensuke Sasaki.
And this is for the United States Heavyweight title. And Sasaki is the champion, United States champion. I believe he won it on a Saturday night show.
Yeah, who did he beat? Sting?
Yes, but it says he won the title in a battle royal. Essentially, this was setting up what was going to be at Starrcade again to be the New Japan versus WCW. We're getting a taste of it. Sasaki wins this match with a brain buster. So Sasaki retains his title. At this match, we go to a Gene Okerlund interview with Taskmaster, the Giant, and Jimmy Hart's there as well. The Giant is really hamming up his growling to the camera.
Yes, it's awful. But Giant makes really cringy faces during the promo.
It's so cartoony, it's ridiculous.
This is, I think, the start of Giant poetry because he does do a poem or something or a rhyme.
I have it on here. But Taskmaster first says that the Dungeon of Doom would not just be part of the Battle Royal, they would take no prisoners. They say they have a lot of friends in a lot of places. Chance for Hogan, this is a pro Hogan crowd, and makes the Dungeon of Doom upset. Jimmy Hart says they aren't scared of Hogan and says the only man who's going to wear red and yellow is going to be the Taskmaster. Good luck with that. The Giant ends this with a poem here. Let's see what y'all think of it. It says, roses are red, violets are blue. I'll kick your butt to Kalamazoo. Don't quit your day job, Giant.
Who told him to do this?
It's just awful. I want that name right now. They have a video recap of Macho Man Lex Luger, and afterwards they show the picture of them side by side, and the effects they put on this thing are terrible, and I will show you a picture.
Outdated as soon as they did that.
So the next match is going to be Macho Man versus Lex Luger, but before that we get an interview with Macho Man. This is the famous promo for Macho Man where Mean Gene asks Macho Man if he's jittery, and Macho Man says he's always jittery. It's part of his charm. Mean Gene then asks Macho Man, what about your injured arm? Even though I thought we said it's 1,000,000%, but I thought, it's still taped up. I thought Hogan said that was a fake thing, so why we're still faking it, But yeah, then he leads saying him and Luger have a date with Destiny. So then we go to our match here. Luger does a ton of his loud screaming during this match. He does it every match, but this match is particularly audible.
Ow.
But Lex Luger does win this match. Jimmy Hart causes a distraction. Lex Luger gets the torture rack on the outside for a long time.
Yeah.
And then he puts Macho Man back in the ring and then has a reverse armbar on him. But Macho Man is out cold, so the ref calls for the bell. Luger would not let go of the armbar until Sting comes out, and then he lets go.
Because Sting had to let go of his sharpshooter.
Yeah. So it seems like those two were really tight, It ends with the announcers questioning what the relationship is between Sting and Lex Luger. So will Macho Man make it to the Battle Royal? We will see. Now we go to our next match, which is a rematch. We have Ric Flair versus Sting. And this match was a little bit funny, comedic, because again, in World War III, they had the 3-ring setup. which for the majority of the night, the other two rings weren't utilized. In the center ring, Flair runs ring to ring throughout the whole match, and Sting has to chase him throughout the whole thing.
Flair continuously goes from ring to ring. Oh, it's great. Obviously, it's like, oh, he's trying to wear Sting down by keep going to different rings.
I actually liked it in this match. It made it kind of unique because that's of course that's something Ric Flair would do.
So sorry, one thing we forgot to show y'all when we first did our recording was this hilarious video of Ric Flair stalking Sting's legs. I'll go ahead and share the clip with y'all, but we thought it was absolutely hilarious. Check it out.
What's weird is, like, during this match, Sherry Martel and Rob Parker are out, and then they are kissing at ringside. But why are they here? Why during this match are they out here?
Yeah, that was weird because they have no connection to anybody in the ring.
And it's a Sting Flair match. You don't need a distraction.
One thing I'll note, Sting does win this match. He wins with a Scorpion Deathlock. But the thing that was weird to me is that Sting has been so angry at Flair. In previous weeks, he has not let go of it. And during this match, he hits the Scorpion Deathlock where Flair gives up, and then Sting lets go immediately. Doesn't hold it even a second longer than he needs to. So I thought that was weird, and especially wouldn't you think Sting would want to hold it so that way Flair, who's in the Battle Royal, won't win it. So I thought that was kind of bad storytelling there. So that's that match. So then we have next is going to be our 60-man Battle Royal main event. Remember, the winner gets to be the champion. But first we had to do a Hulk Hogan interview with Mean Gene. He does some fee-fi-fo rhyme that doesn't rhyme. I didn't have written down what exactly he said, but it was bad.
That's awful.
He says that a WCW title should have never been taken away from him. He does say the final three are him, Sting, and Macho Man. Then he will still do what it takes to get the title back, as is every man for himself. And he will prove that Hulkamania is the strongest force in wrestling.
He says that the power of Dungeon Doom is not as powerful as the power of Hulkamaniacs, brother.
And again, he calls the Giant a filthy, stinking giant.
He said he could smell the Giant from here. Yeah, he's just doing this whole stinky. It's awful.
Earlier, it seemed like the crowd was for Hogan, but there was a part where Mean Gene references the crowd loving Hogan, and they're clearly booing him. I thought that was funny.
And then, so the next is Battle Royal, and I will note at the beginning, you see, and people mention, oh, the Yeti's out here, and he looks nothing like he did at Halloween Havoc. He doesn't look like a mummy. He looks like a ninja now. And I believe he is the first one eliminated.
This match was kind of hard to follow through for majority because they did a 3-screen layout so that you could see what's happening in each ring. And it was very hard to follow.
I can see why they have not brought this match concept back. Like WWE has not brought it back. It's just too much going at once. It's too much.
It sounds good when you think about it, but then execution, to show it to the people who want to watch it, it's just hard to do. Even live, it would be kind of hard to follow. But some notable eliminations are, well, one thing is Luger and Macho Man are going after each other like the whole match. Diamond Dallas Page does eliminate Johnny B. Bad to continue their feud. Sting and Hulk Hogan eliminate Flair and Arn Anderson. And then Hogan, he's Hulk Hogan, so he eliminates Sting, Giant, and Lex Luger at the same time. And then after the Giant has been eliminated, he pulls Hogan underneath the bottom rope. The ref doesn't see him go underneath the bottom rope, so the ref thinks he went over the top, and therefore Hogan is eliminated. So
it's
Macho Man wins.
For Hogan to lose, but not actually lose.
So Macho Man wins. He's the last one remaining. Hogan is upset, and he scoop slams the Giant. He gets in the ring, and then starts complaining to Macho Man, and we get into our final interview with Mean Gene trying to clear everything up. Hogan says he wasn't thrown over the rope, and Savage tells Hogan that they've been through hell and back a dozen times, and he says he didn't see what happened to Hogan, but he lives by the rule, it is what it is. So if the ref said Hogan got eliminated, then guess what? Sorry, buddy.
It is what it is. You'll hear that a lot.
Hogan tells Macho Man that there's a dark cloud over his title ring, as Hogan didn't go over the top rope. And then Macho Man says, I didn't see it. I had to see the film. And Hogan says, okay, if tomorrow night we'll watch the film, and if the film shows what happened, then he'll get a rematch with Savage for the title. And Savage says that's cool with him, and they shake hands, and they both do Macho Man's ooh yeah to end the show.
I like that Savage one. I do not like that Hogan did not get himself eliminated. They could have just they eliminate the Giant. The Giant comes in, is mad, and eliminates Hogan out of anger. Like, you could have done that. And he's still at least going to have a top rope, but no, you have the whole, he didn't even go under the top. Because you still could have done the match with Hogan the Savage. Hogan saying, "Oh, I wasn't eliminated by like someone that was active in the match." So I don't know. It was just another reason for Hogan to technically not even lose.
Yeah, you knew that was a Hogan call to do it that way. But overall, this show was okay. My favorite match is going to be Flair versus Sting. Actually, no. I'm sorry.
Versus DDP. That'd be my
yeah,
favorite.
I'm sorry. I forgot about that. I changed my vote. My favorite match would be Diamond Dallas Page versus Johnny. That was the best one.
But second, the first time Sting and Ric Flair match, it might maybe that. But
I just like. Plenty. Well, we have. If it was a standard match, I wouldn't rank it that high. But I just like the sight of Flair going from ring to ring. I thought that was fun. It added some sort of newness to their matches.
Yeah, that would be second best in my opinion. And then worst thing about the whole show was the beginning with the Hogan Sting and promo.
What would you rate better between Survivor Series or World War III? I think I would go World War III.
World War III.
Overall.
Because all the Survivor Series matches were meaningless.
Besides the main event,
Good main event. Overall, WCW.
Yeah, World War III is more consistent. All right. So we'll go into the last head-to-head for November. It will be November 27th, 1995. We'll first go to Nitro, the Pepe outfit of the week. He's dressed like a cowboy with cheetah print.
Yes.
But the first match is Johnny B. Bad with the Diamond Doll versus Diamond Dallas Page. And Page comes out during his entrance looking dejected, sad, nowhere near as cocky and arrogant as he is. And he has a bouquet of roses because he wants to give it to the Diamond Doll. He hands the flowers to Diamond Doll. And then as he's doing that, he sucker punches Johnny B. Bad.
What a DDP thing to do. What a blow down.
You know what else will be a DDP thing to do, Jacob? Diamond Doll looks through the flowers and finds a steel chain in there. And she looks like she doesn't know what to do with it. Does she help Paige or does she help her new client, Johnny B. Bad? During the match, Paige asks for the chain from Diamond Doll, but she throws it in between Diamond Dallas Page's legs, and Johnny B. Bad catches it, and then Johnny B. Bad uses it to win the match.
After the match, Johnny B. Bad questions Diamond Doll if she meant to throw it to him or DDP, and she does not answer, but instead says that Johnny B. Bad won, and isn't at the point, and then Bad's like, "Oh, okay." Bad just like instantly drops it. He's like, "Oh, okay, that's cool."
After that, we do get an interview with the Taskmaster and Jimmy Hart, and the Taskmaster says he wants to talk to Jimmy Hart. And he's going to ask Hart a real easy question. He says, "What is Luger doing with Sting?"
Soul chastises Luger for not putting the hold on Savage for 10 more seconds. And he said if you had kept that hold on for 10 more seconds, Macho Man probably wouldn't be champion. Or the Hulk Hogan controversy, and they would have had either Luger or someone else from the dungeon win. So he's like, man, if you didn't have 10 more seconds on that hold, that would have totally been swung in our favor.
Yeah, just 2 more seconds. He held it for a long time the night before. But Jimmy Hart says, in response to Sullivan questioning him, that he says he has never lied to Kevin Sullivan. He says Luger and Sting go back just like Hart and Sullivan do. And then Hart says he has a plan for Sting. And then Sullivan, he asks Hart, saying, "You and Luger have a plan?" And then he laughs and walks away. Yeah. So I don't know if that was to show that he doesn't trust them, or it shows that he's laughing because he likes what they have a plan.
I think it was because he's doing this whole evil thing. He likes what,
yeah.
It's hard to tell sometimes.
To me, it came off as if he's saying, "You have a plan? Okay, let's see what you got."
Then after this, they do a rematch from the night before from World War III, Kiri Sasaki and Mayumi Osaka versus Bull Nakano and Akira Hokuto. It's another good match. I think Nakano hits a brainbuster fireman suplex for the win. It's a really nice finish. But other than that, it was similar. It's kind of similar to the one from the night before, but it was a good match. So I would also check this one out.
To Raw, first thing they do is they recap Shawn Michaels collapsing the week before, and they're really hamming up, the severity of it. But the first match is Rad Radford versus Ahmed Johnson. The winner is Ahmed Johnson, squash match. He wins with a Pearl River Plunge. But then after the match, King interviews Ahmed Johnson, and I apparently got some of it down here. Well, first King tells Ahmed Johnson that Dean Douglas says to Ahmed that he's going to teach him a lesson. Ahmed Johnson then tells Dean Douglas to say it to his face. So Douglas comes out, and I was surprised he came out because he's more of a chicken shit heel. But he does come out, and he says Ahmed may have all that it takes, but everyone knows that the road to superstardom takes place in his classroom, and he points to the ring. And then, which is funny because I'm like, you're not really a well-noted superstar yet, so it's not like that sentence doesn't mean anything to me. There's nothing behind it.
Ahmed tells him to ring the bell. Class just started, and then goes to the ring.
Then refs come out to pull Douglas away to prevent him from getting into the ring. They do show a Shawn Michaels video package, and essentially it just talks about the attack from the Marines and his post-concussion symptoms, and say he will be out a few weeks. I guess I should note this. WWF, I believe, is probably a taped episode. So their second match features a lot of Japanese stars. So, of course, the second match we just talked about on WCW side featured a bunch of Japanese stars. So there's a lot of gamemanship still between these people.
I did note that as well, that both, it's weird, around the same time in the show, you both get a tag match between female Japanese superstars. This one is kind of the same ones as the one in Survivor Series, Aja Kong and Tomoko Namanabe versus Luncher Blaze and Kyoko Inoue. Kong wins again, I believe, with the back fist.
She does the back fist, spinning back fist, better than Eddie Kingston.
Oh, absolutely. No, because she's actually busted people open with it.
So next match for WCW is Humorous versus Hulk Hogan.
The newest member of the Dungeon, they note during commentary.
Yes, he is the newest member. I believe that was announced on the Saturday show. This crowd is more pro Hogan than yesterday's crowd.
Yes. During this time, there was a not weird, but interesting dynamic where some towns were just absolutely pro Hogan and other ones, even like the non-mark cities, that some of them even didn't like Hogan. Hugh Morris hits no laughing matter, and then Hulk Hogan immediately no sells.
Yeah, I have this as a standard Hogan match. Hogan his leg up for the win. Hogan's not giving any rub to Hugh Morris. Okay, so
no, at least give the man a 2 count before you Hulk up.
So for WWF, we have a Brother Love segment. So Brother Love, but he brings out his guest is Bret Hart. He tells Bret Hart he's got a lot of heart, but no love.
He needs a lesson on love.
He tells Bret Hart that Hart is a marked man because he has a title. No shit.
He says that the Undertaker makes Hart shake in his boots.
And every time he goes to ask Bret Hart a question and then move the mic to get Bret Hart's response, he moves it right back. He doesn't let Bret Hart speak.
I believe they announced early in the show that the Undertaker will challenge Bret Hart at the Royal Rumble, which is why Brother Love is mentioning the Undertaker.
Like you said, Bret Hart is shaking it in his boots at the thought of facing the Undertaker.
He's gonna make his mama cry by fighting Owen, and that he will fight Bulldog. How can you sit there and make your mother cry?
Yeah, he's just hammering into Bret Hart, saying, "What kind of a man is he? How can he be proud to do stuff like make his mother cry, fight his brother-in-law?" He goes to get his Bret Hart's response to like the fourth question he asks, and he goes to pull it away, but Bret Hart grabs his arm because he's tired of that crap. And Bret Hart says, to achieve great things, you have to live like you are never going to die. And as far as Diesel is concerned, he considers Diesel to be cheap for what he did at Survivor Series. And next time they step foot in the ring, it will be a different story. Well, that won't take place till what, WCW probably?
Probably.
And then he says he will worry about The Undertaker another day.
He says he doesn't even want to think about The Undertaker. Cross that path later, coward.
That's how scared he is, right, Jacob?
Yeah, that's how scared he is, shaking his boots. And then he tells Brother Love to stop talking about his mama. And the only thing that crossed his mind is in 1992 when he lost the title, Intercontinental title to the Bulldog.
And of course, Bret Hart in promos always makes some sort of pun related to the wrestler's name. He tells Bulldog it is a dog-eat-dog world, and he will redeem himself and walk out the WWF champion.
He says, redemption is the greatest of all human qualities.
And then after that, we see Bob Backlund run into the ring and put Bret Hart in crossface chicken wing and won't let go, and then Bret Hart is out. So we're bringing back that, because Bret Hart infamously lost the title to Bob Backlund after Owen Hart convinced his mother to throw in the towel. We'll do this. It's Triple H versus a jobber. Triple H wins. The main development here is that Godwin challenges Triple H to a match In Your House in a hog pen match. Sweet. But after this match, there's a video interview of Cornette and Owen Hart. Cornette issues an open challenge at the In Your House pay-per-view for anybody brave enough to challenge Owen Kevorkian, since Owen Hart made Shawn Michaels be out of commission. Yep, that's that. So it's an open challenge at In Your House because Owen Hart is just that dang good. He'll take on anybody. For WCW, we have, before the main event, we have an interview with Macho Man. The Macho Man sounds like he is losing his voice during this promo. He definitely screamed too much the night before. But Macho Man says he is on top of the mountain and ready to face anybody one-on-one. Mean Gene mentions the controversy surrounding his victory the night before, and Macho Man says he's heard about it, and he tells Hogan if Hogan has a problem with it, they can settle it right now. So Hogan comes out and says the whole world saw it, says there were 2 men that didn't get thrown over the top rope. Hogan mentions that his name is still on the belt. Yeah, okay, no duh, Hogan, because he just won the title the night before.
Savage was like, yeah, I'm going to get it changed.
Yeah, he's like, I'm planning on getting that changed, brother.
Hogan starts to show Savage the footage from World War III, but then there's some malfunction. And then Savage was like, I didn't see anything.
And then Hogan's like, what's going on? What's going on? Macho Man says he has nothing to do with the footage getting cut out, but the Giant must have something to do with it because he comes out and chokeslams Macho Man on the concrete floor and brings Hulk Hogan to the ring. Sting comes out to help his friends, and he grabs the Giant by the leg, and Hogan comes back and hits Giant with a chair repeatedly. I will say it on record, I believe I said it in one of our other episodes, Hulk Hogan is the safest chair shot man in the business.
Yeah.
I mean, for them it's safe, but on TV it doesn't look as impressive. So they get the Giant out the ring. Hulk Hogan accidentally elbows the ref. The ref was trying to take the chair from Hogan, and Hogan shows him off, which will play into him a little bit next week. Sting gets Hulk Hogan to stop hitting the Giant so they can check on Macho Man, and the Giant leaves. So now we're on the main events. Let's go ahead and do WWF's because I think it's a bit weaker.
It's extremely weak.
It is Sir Mo versus The Undertaker with Paul Bearer. It was supposed to be Colin Mustafa, which still would have been a weak main event, but Mustafa comes out with crutches, so he hurt himself. But during the match, Colin Mustafa, of course, reveals that he wasn't hurt, and they gang up on The Undertaker. The 2 jobbers are no match for The Undertaker, and Undertaker wins with a choke slam on Sir Mo for the win.
I just love that they had Colin like, oh yeah, it's her, and then he comes out to the match. Oh no, I'm not hurt. He still gets dispatched.
The main development from this is that after the match, King Mabel comes out and Undertaker grabs the gold chain because supposedly that's where the power of the urn is right now. It's so weird that they say the urn is a chain now because they melted it, whatever.
Yes, yeah. Kama melted it down to a chain or something.
The Undertaker wants that back because at this time he's still drawing power from the urn. Undertaker does get the chain and he gives it to Paul Bearer, but King Mabel attacks Paul Bearer and gets the chain back. And the reason King Mabel is able to do that is because Yokozuna comes out and Undertaker and him have a little stare off. When Undertaker notices that the chain is gone, he just chased the King Mabel. So the Yokozuna thing was kind of pointless. So we'll go to the WCW main event. And it was Sting and Lex Luger versus Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman. There's a moment that I did like in this match is that Sting pins up Brian Pillman for the win. And then right after he gets the win, Arn Anderson immediately hits the DDT on him. It was so well timed. I thought it looked pretty good. Flair comes out and attacks Luger. He throws him into the turnbuckle and holds Luger down while Brian Pillman does a splash on him. And then he applies a figure 4 to Sting, which causes Hulk Hogan to come out, and he clears the ring because you can't stop Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan helps Sting get up, and then he goes to attack Luger because of their issues from before, but Sting grabs Hulk Hogan and gets him to stop. They kind of argue with each other in the ring, but they eventually shake hands, and that's that.
That's that.
So for this week, I think I'm going to go WCW again.
I'm going WCW as well.
Because the match is on WWF size. The best match of the night was the women's match, I think. You had a job match, Ahmed Johnson versus Red Radford, Triple H versus Jobber, and then Sir Mo versus The Undertaker.
You get story in WWF this week. The better show was clearly WCW.
But for Raw, you didn't get Diesel, you didn't get Shawn Michaels, you didn't get Razor Ramon, you didn't even get Psycho Sid. So the only person of note at this time, because Triple H isn't there yet, is Undertaker.
So we picked WCW, the audience of 11/27/1995. Same rating as 11/20, 2.5 to 2.3. WCW wins again.
So there you have it. That is November. Well, of course, we'll be doing December next, so please be on the lookout for that in the coming weeks. But thank you for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that you do. My name's Max.
I'm Jay.
And let the discussions begin.